Hey everyone, Rich Bennett here. I'm excited to tell you about something we're doing for National Recovery Month. Here at Conversations with Rich Bennett, we're holding a special event called the Podathon for Recovery, 12 Days of Hope. For 12 consecutive days, we'll release a new episode dedicated to powerful conversations about addiction, recovery, and hope. And we're doing this to raise vital funds for an incredible nonprofit, Rage Against Addiction. They are on the front lines providing sober living homes, recovery coaching, and essential support to families. We believe recovery is a journey worth celebrating, and your support can make a tangible difference. Every donation, no matter the size, goes directly to them, helping to save lives and provide a second chance. So please join our mission. You can start donating right now. Simply go to conversationswithrichbennett.com and you'll see the donation thing right there so you can donate and help these women in recovery. Welcome to a special episode of Conversations with Rich Bennett. This is a part of our Podathon for Recovery, 12 Days of Hope, our mission to raise money for Rage Against Addiction. My co-host Wendy Beck and I will be sharing powerful stories of addiction, recovery, and resilience to help break the stigma and show that hope is always possible. Your support helps Rage Against Addiction provide life-changing resources, and you can donate right now by visiting our GoFundMe link in the show notes. We are so grateful you've joined us on this important journey. Now let's get into today's conversation. Today, we're kicking off the Podathon for Recovery, 12 Days of Hope. We're doing this to raise money for an organization that Wendy knows very well, you could say, and one that is doing life-changing work, Rage Against Addiction. But before we dive into the incredible programs they offer, I want to provide some context for our listeners. The numbers in this country tell a powerful story about why organizations like Rage Against Addiction are so necessary. According to the latest data from the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, an estimated 48.4 million people aged 12 or older in the United States had a substance use disorder in 2024. That's a staggering number, representing over 16% of the population. And despite these numbers, about 1 in 5 people who need treatment actually receive it. And it's a gap that highlights a massive need for resources and support. Wendy, as the founder and executive director of Rage, you've seen this struggle firsthand. And can you tell our listeners a bit about the organization's origin and what its core mission is?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for letting us do this because it's always a pleasure. And I'm really excited about this series that we're doing. But I founded Rage Against Addiction in 2014. I had a teenage daughter that was struggling with heroin addiction, which I knew nothing about. It hit our family really hard. She started young and she was immediately addicted. It didn't start with heroin, but it progressed very quickly. At that time, I had another child. She was young. She was a baby. So I had a teenager and a toddler at the same time. And so you're trying to navigate, being a mom to a teenager and then, doing the potty training and the daycare and all that kind of stuff. So you're pulled in a lot of different directions. At first, I didn't know what was going on with her. I thought she was just kind of, growing up, experimenting, trying different things. Never thought it would be anything to that magnitude.
And you had already started Rage during that time?
No, I had not started Rage at that time. So when I finally figured out what was going on, which took a while, it honestly did. She was very good at hiding it. I didn't know what I was looking for, but when everything came to light, I was trying to figure out ways to help her. And at that time, back in 2013, 14, there wasn't a lot of resources.
Right.
I know now that there were some resources in the county, but they were not readily available or readily known to me. personally. I was just, a mom working full time with her 2 girls, and, I was married. And when your kid starts to show signs of something that you've never experienced, you really don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, fast forward, I know that she's addicted. Her personality, who she was, prior to this, it was totally different. She was turned into someone that I didn't even know anymore. But I still, of course, wanted to help her. At that time, like, I was just so in love with her, and it was just hard to watch this.
Yeah.
And I decided to start a nonprofit. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I was just like seeing the options that she had with sober living, what treatment looked like at that time. At this time and place, if you didn't have a lot of money, you weren't going to the more prestigious treatment centers. And the other ones around here, people were saying, giving you advice, like get her out of here, do this, do that. So she would, had gone to a treatment center that was a little bit farther away. And I was like relieved, thinking, yay, this is going to be it. And not understanding the disease of addiction at the time. It's not this one-time thing where, you go away and you come back and everything is okay, because it definitely was not okay. So during that time, I decided to start the nonprofit organization with the goal of having better resources. And one of those was sober living. The house that she had gone to after treatment, which she only stayed for a very short time, was not a place that you would really want to send anybody that you loved.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, this is what we're doing to help people that are struggling. And again, I didn't even understand what was happening. So, she would talk the talk and I would believe her, and, the cycle would start all over again. We got to a place where she had gotten on methadone, which was maintenance. I didn't know anything about that at the time. I was just like, well, why would you want to do that? Like, why don't you just, not do that and just stop doing that? But the cravings and the addiction had a hold of her, and it was beyond my control. So what I did for me was I tried to learn as much as I could about the disease. And in that, I started Rage Against Addiction. And I often tell the story of like why I called it that, because I was angry. I was really angry.
So it wasn't because you liked the band?
No, I didn't even know. That wasn't even my thing.
Okay.
But
no, it makes sense.
I was just like, I'm going to rage against addiction.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, I didn't even know what I was going to do. So I went on and I created a domain name under that. And that was the first thing I did. I had no idea where it would go from there. And she continued to struggle, and as she was struggling, I was doing things to educate myself, created a mission to provide awareness and support to anyone that struggled from drug and or alcohol abuse, including the families, because at that time, I was the family.
Right.
I was the family who was trying to shout from the rooftops, we need to do something about this. This is not okay. And at that time, and I've said this a million times, there were other peers in her community, meaning her friends, that were doing the same things that she was doing, except no one would talk to me about it. Their parents didn't want to hear from me. I would call and I would say, hey, like, is she there? Oh no, she spent the night at your house. They weren't. They were off. They were at raves. They were doing all of these things that were not something that you would really, was not your typical 16-year-old. Like, it was like big stuff. There was like no fear. She went rogue. She was like beyond my ability to capture her attention. And of course, that's devastating. It's so devastating to see someone that you love so much go through this. We would have moments of clarity. We would have moments where, we came up with a plan and she went here, she went there, but ultimately we never got there. She did pass away in 2015. I had started the organization in 2014. And at that time, that was when the opioid crisis was really rearing its head in like the suburbs. Like it used to be a city problem. It used to be, but to seep into the county, we've got a fairly affluent area. So, we've got these big houses and, privileged kids that are, dressed in expensive clothes, and they're behind closed doors. They're killing themselves. And at that time, we also had signs that were up in the community.
Sheriff's office. Yeah.
Yes. And it was counting down. It was or ticking up. The number was constantly ticking up. And so, I just kept doing what I could do because I could not control what she was doing. It was hard. It was a hard road, but, I'm going to fast forward. It's like, 2014. So we're 11 years later, where she'll be gone 10 years in December.
Right.
We have 3 sober living houses for women, and our program is outstanding. It's because of the women in recovery that have, stood up and helped us, our program director, the house managers that step in. And so, we're a nonprofit that provides housing to women in recovery. And even though she never got there, I know she would be really proud. I really do. And at some point along the path of this journey that we were both on, like we were intersecting, and I would tell her, what was going on with the organization. Hey, we're going to have a walk. Hey, we're funding people into sober living. And this always makes me cry. But she said to me, Mom, you're really doing it. And those words keep me going. Because there has been so many women that we have helped over the past. The first house was opened in 2018. So however many years that is, I'm not going to do the math while I'm crying. And with the help of the community, because nonprofits really are a labor of love.
Yeah.
And, we need those donations. We need those grants. We need those things because for a long time I worked a full-time job and I still did this and I still built it. Like I wasn't even our first employee. Like I was doing it for free for years until finally we had our third house. And I was kind of like, if I want to help make this grow, I have to make a decision. And that was a big decision. And when I did, I never looked back in regret because we have done so many awesome things. Yes, that's a long answer to that, but.
Well, no, it's great because I think, we've talked about rage before, but people need to understand why this podathon is so important. What are some of because when you originally started it, you were doing some things that you're no longer doing now.
Well,
and that's changed, right?
You have to remember, again, like I said, this was a time when the opioid crisis was like in full bloom.
Right.
It was getting attention, national attention. There was the governor was talking about it. There was, all of these things. So people were paying attention. They were paying attention and there wasn't enough resources. So what was the question?
No,
I'm sorry.
Because when you first started, you had some programs.
Oh, yeah.
But
now, so I started the organization, which was just, filing the paperwork, had this mission. But what did that really mean? So we started fundraising, loosely. We decided to, and she passed away during this first year of the organization. And at that time, she wasn't the only one who passed away. There was tons of families that were grieving because of the loss of their own kids. And so we decided to do a memory walk, and it was small. It was the first in the county of its kind. And that was generating some revenue for the organization. Now, remember, at that time, we didn't have any employees. So we're making some money and we're like, okay, what are we going to do with it? So we started funding people into sober living. We decided, okay, we need to give this back to the community immediately. And so at the time, houses would reach out to us or individuals that were entering sober living that needed funding. So we were able to do that for years. We were making money from our donations and our events. And we were able to, fund hundreds of people per year into sober living. The ultimate goal was to open a sober living house for women, because that's where I saw at the time, I really felt like there needed to be something better than there was. Today, fast forward, we do have a lot of resources. There's been, money from, the government that has been, offered for this kind of thing. And, but we still have to, it takes a lot to run a nonprofit. It takes a lot. And I'm not trying to say that Rage is any different, because if you are trying to save anything, it takes all of your time. So, we work tirelessly. I have an awesome board of directors. I have an awesome program director who's in recovery herself, that I would not be able to do this without her. So we're a really good team, and we have houses, and we really always are full. We are always full with women that are coming to recover with us.
How many houses would you like to see Rage get up to?
I'm going to answer this question because my program director informed me yesterday as to what we were going to be doing in the future, and her answer was 5.
Okay.
I don't know. We're at 3. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And housing, we're having a housing crisis right now. Yeah. People cannot afford to live. So imagine you're trying to recover. You are basically starting over at all of these different points in your life. You have some people who are young, some people who are middle-aged, some people who are really older, and you have to start over from scratch. And you are getting an entry-level job. Not that they're not too humble. I mean, they're humbly getting a job, but you can't afford to live on your own. Yeah. So healing truly begins with safe housing. And that's what I really like to stress in the recovery journey, and what I have seen, that when you get to a place where you're safe, you can begin to heal. It's based on, it's evidence-based. We've seen it happen. We've seen it. Now, rent is expensive. So you're renting houses to house women, and it's not cheap. Anybody knows that.
And speaking of that, with rent and everything, and I'm sure some people may not know how this works. So when somebody's in one of the houses, they have to pay rent, right?
Yes, they absolutely pay rent.
Walk us through that. If somebody comes into one of the rage houses, what do they have to do? This way, people listening realize that they're not just going there to put their head on a pillow.
No. I mean, not only does healing begin with safe housing, it also begins with structure. Mm-hmm. So let's say, we accept people from treatment. We accept people that are homeless. We accept people from jail. We accept people that leave their homes to come to us because they need a change. And when they come in, they'll do a phone screening with our program director to see if you're a good fit, which, I don't really know, what makes you not a good fit or a fit. I mean, but you get a bed, you come in, and you have your intake fee and your first two weeks of rent, which a lot of people don't have. So there's sources in the community that will provide funding. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes they will reach out to them. Most times they will reach out to them, and they get their foot in the door. The first 30 days that you are in our sober living houses, you are on blackout, which that means that your job is to sit with yourself. Your job is to find a job. Your job is to go to meetings. Your job is to take a breath. Because if you're not doing that, you're not changing anything. Right. So I always call it the first 30 days. The first 30 days, it's a time to think about yourself, think about your network, think about a lot of things that you haven't even had the opportunity to think about in a long time. During that time, you will start to fall into place with the rules of the house. We have chores every day. You have to be up and out of your room at a certain time, and you're seeking employment as well as a sponsor and finding a home group. It's a lot, and sometimes it feels overwhelming to the ladies, but once they get into the groove of it, and then that 30 days has passed, you get to spread your wings a little bit. You have a little freedom. So, so that's what it looks like. But you have to remember, yes, they do pay rent. It's a reasonable amount of money. You really can't live anywhere else, even though you're in a shared space, for that amount. And the houses, they do not pay for themselves.
No,
they don't. There's, of course, our rent. There's gas and electric. There's water. There's Wi-Fi. There's, lawn care. Anything that breaks.
All the stuff that you would have for a regular
in a real house. Yeah. Sure, absolutely. So we take care of it. We want people to feel like it's a home. And they do. We know we offer anybody a tour if they want to come and see. Obviously, we have to be with them and all that kind of stuff. And they're private, undisclosed locations for the privacy of our women that live there, because they're a vulnerable population and have been through a lot, and they deserve the respect of being able to have the time to heal. Having said that, I want to throw this out there. I know I'm just talking a lot right now.
You're fine.
But people get territorial to not in my neighborhood. But I want to say something. You're probably not going to find better neighbors.
Exactly.
No one's using drugs. The house is maintained. They have curfews. The house is clean. And they become a family. We've noticed that the length of stay is getting longer and longer and longer. And so we decided to change our program from coming in and, feeling like when you're ready to go to we really want you to be there for a year. Because in that year, you can accomplish a lot.
Right.
And so anyway, we've been so excited about a recent county grant that we got, and we feel really blessed. This is the first time, because we have literally been at the mercy of the donations in the community to make all of this run, but things are changing.
We still need.
We do. And the thing is, the grant is not really just throwing money at us. The grant is to help us expand our services. So we will have a peer, which is a recovery specialist. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that correctly at the moment. A certified peer recovery specialist that will work one-on-one with our ladies, because now we have 25 women. 3 houses and 25 women. Wow. So, we want to make sure that they're getting what they need while they're there. We're trying to incorporate the 8 dimensions of wellness. So, they can have workshops monthly about resume writing or mental health, or it's unlimited what we can provide to them with the assistance of the county and the donations and the fundraising. And it might seem like we have it all together, and we do, but we can't do it without the support. And that's why we thank you for allowing us to do this podathon, which we kind of made up. So
well,
and it's we're the catalyst for this podathon. We hope other organizations do the same.
This was your idea. How did you come up with the idea of a podathon?
I don't know. I think when I was young, the first fundraiser thing that I ever heard of and I did was the walkathon, the March of Dimes walkathon.
Oh, okay. I thought
so
you were
to me, it was
Jerry
just
Lewis thing for a minute.
the telethon too. But I actually participated. I couldn't call in when I was a little girl for the telethon, but we did the walkathons and we raised money. So I thought, hey, we do the podcast, let's do a podathon. And it just kind of stuck. And so you and I have been working really hard to get these recovery stories in. And I think that if you listen, they all have a common theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
They recover with the right support.
The other thing is too, and those of you listening, when you hear their stories, you're going to be blown away, because anybody that says that, if you're addicted, it's impossible to become anything. These women are
pillars in the community.
Yes.
Now. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, executive directors, business owners, it's just amazing.
Healthcare professionals. Yeah.
So, and we said it before, you can't put a face on addiction. Everybody's different. Look at how many celebrities and business owners, top CEOs, are in recovery, but you may not even know it.
Right.
So it's
very, I guess, I don't even want to say the word unique, but I can't even imagine how humbling it is to be an adult that had a family and a career and was self-sufficient, to getting to a place where they're starting over and they're living in a house full of women who are all starting over with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, takes a lot to make the decision to do that for yourself. Not everyone's there voluntarily. I'm going to tell you, like we've heard some of our guests, they were court ordered or, it was their last resort because they had nowhere else to go. But when they take the suggestions that they're given in recovery, and our program is amazing, and our program director, she doesn't let any grass grow under their feet, things change.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say every single person that walks through that door walks out, transformed, but the ones who put in the work see the results.
Yep. And again, you could see them walking down the street right next to you and you wouldn't even know.
No. And they're delightful. They're delightful people, and they have so much gratitude, and they have worked so hard for what they got.
Well, actually, before I finish up, is there anything you want to add?
Gosh, I don't know. I just went on a tangent. I don't know.
All right. So those of you listening, when you hear these stories, first of all, like I said, you're going to be blown away, but also we would love to hear your response. So if you go to the website, conversationswithrichbennett.com, a couple things I want you to do. Number one, at the top, you'll see where it'll say donate to the Rage Against Addiction Podathon. Make sure you donate there. You'll also see where you can leave a voicemail. Leave a voicemail of what you thought about it, or email me, or leave a comment in the Facebook group. When Wendy came to me with this idea, I thought she was nuts, be honest with you. I'm like,
Really?
what? Yeah, I'm like, a podathon? What, you mean like, I thought you meant like going live.
Well, that would have been cool, but that would have been hard.
Yeah. But I do believe that this is a good thing. I mean, this is something that we've been the number one podcast for addiction in 2 years now. So we know we have people listening to it. I want everybody to donate, even if it's $5, $20, $1,000, whatever. Every little bit helps. What Wendy's doing here is, and her team is simply amazing, and they are helping women everywhere. And I say everywhere because we've had people contact us from other states and other countries because they've heard stories about the people that have been on that Wendy and I have talked to, and it has changed their lives. So again, make sure you make a donation. Wendy, I want to thank you so much, because if I wouldn't have met you, I forget how many years ago now.
I don't even know.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been doing this. But in all honesty, I'm proud of everything that you're doing. I don't even know if I've ever told you that.
No, thank you. Well, it's not me. It's not me. The ladies put in the work. My team, the program director and the house managers that have come in and out of that role since we started, they're the ones that I'm proud of, because I'm just here, cheering them on, because I know the devastating effects of loss. And that's something that drives me every day, because I don't want other people to have to go through that. And unfortunately, it's going to happen. And we have a lot of families that are grieving. And I want to just give them hope as well, that their loss is not going unnoticed, and we are trying to change things.
Wendy, I understand that Rage Against Addiction is doing something very important, a monthly donor program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We are hoping to get our supporters to join us in providing a monthly donation. It can be $5 or it can be more. Whatever you can afford really allows us to help plan and increase our fundraising efforts.
Well, why should people become a monthly donor? What are they doing to help?
Their monthly contributions let us plan for long-term projects and respond quickly when urgent needs arise. And I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
We had the need for a new mattress.
Right.
And we've also had urgent needs for refrigerators and washing machines and all of that kind of stuff that comes up. So they tend to need to be replaced, and our women deserve to have the things that they need.
So with the monthly donor program, technically anybody can do it for any amount, and because Rage Against Addiction always needs something. And
Yes.
I've known you for years now, and there's times you've told me you guys needed furniture, you need clothes, and also you're not getting the grants that you used to or the contributions that you used to. So this monthly donor program would definitely help a lot.
Yes.
So if somebody becomes a monthly donor, is there anything that they're getting in return? Besides, of course, helping those that need it. I know you guys have an excellent newsletter. Would they automatically be subscribed to
we'll
that?
subscribe you to our newsletter so you'll know what's going on. You can kind of track our progress, hear success stories, know the data and like how many women we serve each year, and just be a part of something bigger.
So with this too, I guess they're also going to be, because of the newsletter, they're going to be one of the first ones to find out about events coming up like the Memory Walk and Run, the Basket Bingo, and any other future events that you're doing, the podcast that you do.
Yes.
So they're going to be tied in right away.
Yes.
All right. So how can they become a monthly donor?
You can go to our website, and that is rageagainstaddiction.org, and go to our donate button. And on there, you will have the option to become a monthly donor, and you can put in any amount that you want. Your commitment, big or small, empowers our mission and changes lives every single day. Visit us at rageagainstaddiction.org to become a reoccurring donor and join us in making a lasting impact. Thank you for your compassion, generosity, and belief in a brighter future. Together, we can make a difference. Join us today.